This is a continuation of the video short I put out the other day, link below. I will be outlining facts and evidence to support the fact that we are living in a generated simulation created by either us or another form of intelligence from the future, and that there are many simulations running, which we are in just one of them. Studying the work of many physicists, but just to name a few of them: David Bohm, Thomas Campbell, Donald Hoffman, and even Richard Dawkins, who's worshipped at Oxford University, supports the many worlds hypothesis. You have Neil deGrasse Tyson states that we will reach a point where we will start running simulations, and even Elon Musk stated on record that there's 1 in a billion chance that we're in base reality. Think of how many simulations that will be run in the very near future. This covers the many worlds hypothesis, parallel universes, and a multitude of other things. How do we think remote viewing is possible? What about astral projection? What about children with past memories of reincarnation? And what about NDEs, near-death experiences? But again, these are all covered in my previous videos. So now let's delve deep and look into this. Firstly, we have the famous double slit experiment. This is a very big deal. Please look it up. It's involving the act of observation and how it changes the waveform of information into a particle. We have what's known as the morphic field or morphic resonance, which is the work of Rupert Sheldrake, who is a Cambridge professor at Trinity College. His work demonstrates how we are like radios and receive signals, e.g. waveform, again into the double slit. Waveform in which our brains interpret the world around us. Graham Hancock states that we are like a radio receiving a signal. The signal still remains even once the radio is dead. Everything is actually an informational field with layers upon layers of information, and not actually physical, as we believe, and our 5 senses tells us it is. Let's take DNA, our double helix, which we know is a coding system, correct? It's made of 4 codes or building blocks, known as nucleotides. These 4 nucleotides are what all plants, animals and us humans are made from. These 4 codes arrange themselves in a certain order to produce either an elephant, a plant, a snake, a human, or any form of a living organism. Looking into plants and photosynthesis, according to classical physics, a single photon of light should collide with other particles on its journey to the photosynthesizing core. However, the plant puts a photon into a state of quantum superposition, multiplying that photon by every single route possible to reach the photosynthesizing core. According to classical physics, most plants shouldn't even be alive. Your skin is made of atoms, which are particles that have been taken from waveform information. Your blood flowing, another layer of information. You're built of many layers of information. Your 5 senses interpret it as all physical, but it's actually not. We measure information with information. We are all a point of awareness and a layered field of information. Everything is connected at the atomic level. Is the sun a conscious entity? Yes. How about the grass? Yes. The entire universe, or our simulation, you could say, is an intelligent consciousness which needs to experience everything through us, not just through us humans, but through every point of awareness. For those who think, well, what's the point then? I'll just commit suicide. No. you'll just be spat back again in probably exactly the same type of life you tried to leave. Dealing with the point of death, we don't actually die as a form of energy, which is information. Hopefully, you'll have experienced a higher frequency, allowing you to reincarnate even in a different form or in another type of universe. But it's also possible to access other dimensions through the use of psychedelics, e.g. ayahuasca, magic mushrooms. Try arguing this with the shamans, or even Terence McKenna, or even Graham Hancock, who has written a great book called Supernatural. If you think this is all nonsense, and that things are actually physical, as in we cannot put our hand through a wall because the electrons in your hand and the electrons in the wall repel as they are both negatively charged, this is not exactly the case. There are laws that govern where we are, e.g. Newtonian physics, laws of thermodynamics, etc. Lastly to add, and the most important point, what are UAP and why are they here? Or are some of them even us from the future? All the best and thanks for listening.